Yeah. Or,
But
like what the fuck? Dandelions are illegal. Dandelions are illegal because I can fucking make wine out of dandelions, so they're illegal too. And what else can be illegal here?
No, we have in Chinese in Hong Kong we have a kind of dessert. It's made by the seed of marijuana. Yeah, we have
dessert.
A dessert.
Okay, yeah, from hemp seed. Yeah,
like a
and it's how long?
Soup.
Okay, that's great. And how long have you made that in China? Probably for thousands of years, right?
Yes.
See, there you go.
Many years.
Thousands of years it's been made. So there you go.
When the seeds transport to Hong Kong as a material, as a food materials, the seed itself must be cooked. That way it won't grow. You know what I mean? They can sell you the seed, but the seed must be cooked before import into Hong Kong.
Okay. Is it okay if I'm gonna join my voice chat room? So if there's people in my voice chat room, they're gonna come out and ask questions for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is gonna be interesting. Okay, anybody listening?
Get ready.
Going to the Discord.
Yeah, get ready.
I'm in the Discord.
Chuck, if you came to California or Nevada or whatever, and somebody offered to share some of their marijuana with you, Chuck, would you feel comfortable partaking?
Maybe not. Depends.
Well, that depends if it's coming from Jimmy and us compared to someone else.
Okay. I believe that'll work. I think it's hooked up. Okay. There's nobody in there yet, but it's hooked up. So if you go to the people that are in my Discord live show and Darren's Discord, that anyone who has an invite, you want to come in, you're going to be live. If you go to the live show voice chat room.
There you go.
It doesn't look like we have any takers. I'm surprised. Wow. No, I'm surprised. Okay. I have another question, though. Like, if somebody was to get caught, say, a citizen, somebody's vacationing in Hong Kong with marijuana, what would happen to them?
Yeah.
I think 7 years so fine.
Oh my God.
7 years.
Oh my God.
7 years?
Years of jail, yeah.
Before you can leave the country?
Serious. That is the most
preposterous thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I heard about it. I'm not too sure. But usually maybe if you're talking about an extremely serious case, if you got like whole stash,
you're smoking a joint. You're walking down the street. You're smoking a joint.
They will treat you as a drug dealer.
Okay, put it this way: I'm in Hong Kong.
Like 12 years.
I get off the plane. I'm having a ball. I go to a Chinese restaurant or something, one of the best ones ever, and get some Peking duck. I'm smoking a joint out back.
Peking duck. Yes.
If you're smoking in the public, that is more serious.
And I get caught. All of a sudden, a policeman sees me smoking this joint, and I told him that the Peking duck was talking to me. What would he do to me?
He will definitely believe you are talking to the Peking duck because of your marijuana. And they will arrest you with your marijuana together and go to the hospital.
All right. Yeah. Can you dig it, man? Here we are. Oh, man. Okay. The problem being... Here we go. This should work.
Guests on this show are not necessarily those of the network or anyone affiliated.
So it is strict, it is serious, but
There will be mature and possibly immature content. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. As a matter of fact, I probably wouldn't listen at all. It's very poorly produced. Take me to your leader.
Welcome to the Monster Castle Radio Show. For the extreme paranormal listener. And here is your host, the Wolfman, Mike.
This is where all rumors have.
All right. And here I am.
And here we are. Yeah. Yeah, baby, yeah, all right. Can you dig it? This is Wolfman Mike, Monster Castle Paranormal. Just getting in touch here with our guest for the evening is going to be Joseth Moore. And I'm not sure if you remember the show from my archives, but he was the atheist. And he's also doing paranormal investigation and stuff like that. I'm going to try calling him right now if I can. Okay, go. Why isn't it working? Connecting. Nice. Ooh, I got the stupid noise hooked up. Okay, we'll turn the stupid noise off for a second until he answers. Check this out. We should have. Is this working or what? Okay, Joseth, are you there?
Hello. Yes, I am. I am.
All right, you can hear me. All right. Good.
I can. Perfect.
All right, perfect, man. Okay, we're on. I got it all set up. I'm just gonna get a buddy of mine, Dennis. Is it okay if he joins us?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out how to add him here. I had a nap, so my brain's fuzzy. But that's good.
Hey, if that's what helps you.
Okay, let's see. Let's get Dennis on here. Dennis should be there. Oh, wow, cool. You can even hear the ringing noise. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Analog, huh?
Yeah. That's cool. I'm using a different setup here. Dennis? Oh. He was going to go through Skype, but I'm not sure if it's...
Hello?
Hey, right on. It worked.
What's going on?
All right, this is pretty good. I for the start of a show, that little sound effects. No sound problems. I actually hooked it up
Cool.
without trouble. I think I
So,
deserve.
well, I've got big problems with my computer, and it's really upsetting me. So
Uh
I'm not going to bring this into this conversation.
oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I definitely didn't have any sound problems with mine. That's pretty different, eh?
Awesomeness. Yeah. No, that's goodness.
So
Sometimes, I was just, Wolfman, I was just out there cursing and swearing and about to throw my computer against the wall and stuff. I was thinking, you know what? When the universe hands you something that you're really not expecting, you can't get mad and upset. You got to just, go with it because, you can't fight universe, man.
no.
No. It's going to come no matter what. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're gonna get something. That's for sure.
Yeah, but you get it, man. It's how you take it, man.
I like his attitude.
So, in any regard, good to hear you and talking with you.
Yeah, I'm just checking levels here. Make sure that everything's good. But so far, I think it's all right.
Yeah, do you have your guest on?
Yeah, Joseth. This is
Hi, Joe.
Dennis.
Hi, Dennis. This is Joseph. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Joe. I can hear you very clearly. Thank you.
Awesome.
Joe.
Okay, awesome. Same here.
Yeah.
Now, are we just setting up? We're not on, are we?
Yeah, we're live right now. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I just-
right now,
hey.
man.
I hooked
Hi,
it up
everyone.
live, man. I ran the introduction music and
Yeah.
then I just hooked
So-
you guys
so-
up, so we're on live. So maybe
Yeah.
tell us, Joseth, what you've been up to since last time you were on the show.
Well, hello, greetings, hello, Canada, and everybody else. Well, actually, in relatives terms, Wolfman, not much, just pretty much working and just paying bills, and that's kind of it. Well, writing my ebooks, my science fiction and paranormal ebooks. My most recent ebooks I've written came out. I published it, ebooks was back in the spring, and it's called. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's been a few months. It's called Department of Terrestrials, not extraterrestrials, but terrestrials. And just keeping it short, is about Dr. Green, and he's only known as Dr. Green, not even a first name to go with it. And he works for this. It's almost like a Men in Black thing, but they search for, and the reason why it's Department of Terrestrials instead of extraterrestrials, because they also do, in addition to alien searches, they also do your more classic terrestrial paranormal, like your werewolves and strange things on Earth. So hence terrestrials instead of extraterrestrials. So if you do just kind of Google search Joseth Moore as ebooks, and then you'll be able to find it pretty easily. It's called Department of Terrestrials. So that's my most recent edition as far as the fiction goes. But also, and this is where it's more relevant to the paranormal, Dennis and Wolfman. Now, I'm a novice at this. I've actually started my own paranormal investigative blog, where I do a bit of research slash investigation into paranormal. I've already done 3 blogs, and within those 3 blogs, I have a total of what I call events. I call them para events, because some kind of incident happened. That's a long story there. But long story short, I started that back in January. I waited for almost a year last year because I was trying to put together a crew, actually. The more traditional sense. Usually there's a crew involved. There are some people I work with, and there's one young lady I work with at this one kitchen. I won't name the location. She was really big into it, but and by the way, if some of your guests who may have heard me before, some may know that I'm an atheist and a skeptic, even when it comes down to paranormal. But I don't debunk.
I got that, Joe.
Yeah, okay. But so that's that's what's key for my and very like I said, I'm a novice because I'm still learning. I'm doing some actual researches, and I've got 6 investigations so far. And that's what's key, because usually you don't hear about investigators in the paranormal who are skeptics. So that's kind of my angle about that, because it's best to have some kind of something different to bring to the table. So that's basically it, guys. That's yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
So what investigations have could you tell us a bit about your investigations? What happened?
Okay. Well, Wolfman, okay. What I use is the blogging. I use the notes section in Facebook. For me, the reason why I like to do that, long story short, I say that a lot because I go on so long. I like to use Facebook because I'm able to track my downloads. Because when I try to use other blogs, it doesn't seem to work. And plus, I like the fact that you can use pictures and I can get interactions with other people, in the comment section. So if one were to go to Facebook, plug in Joseth Moore, look for my notes. It may be just easier just to simply Google Joseth Moore, Joseth, and then Moore, and then put in blogs. It should come up. That way the reader should be able to find it. Okay, so now to answer more directly, Wolfman, I call it the para events blogs. I'm still getting used to the name. That's how new it is.
Yeah.
And I started back in January. I've got 6 entries. It ranges from the first entry. And I actually told you about this before, Wolfman, and Dennis, I don't remember if you were in one of those shows last year. I mentioned something about my younger brother and I when we were really young. We were out in the fog playing when we were approximately 10, something like that, 10 or 11 years old. And we heard footsteps in the fog, and we could not see any figures with it. And my brother and I ran back into the house. This is around approximately 1980-ish. Something like that, all the way up to the most recent one was back a few months ago. And it's my caregiver, and it seems to be job oriented because, I work 2 jobs and work all the time. So I find where I find basically at work sometimes. Anyway, my caregiver job, there is...
Okay, you get to work sometimes, so that's good.
No, please, go. Well, I was just going to say, and I won't go on too long, because I don't want to give it away too much, because that way the reader can, I'm used to saying reading, the audience can read it for themselves. But it's entry number 6, event number 6, and it deals with a China hutch in regards to a door, and this door kept opening up, but it was the same as on the bottom of the hutch. It's a China hut where you have China dishes. And the hutch has been in this particular family for years, but it's only that particular door that opens up. Now, I recorded it. If you, again, Google Joseth Moore paranormal blog, you'll see it'll be event number 6, blog number 3. But anyway, and you should be able to see a China hutch. It's brown.
I think it's kind of like a lobster hutch, right?
Yeah, it's a very garish looking hutch. I don't blame you.
Yeah, so I gotta ask you a question, Joe. Joe, I gotta ask you a question.
Yes,
because you seem like a very learned man, a man that knows things. What do you think of? Because a friend of mine asked me to do a show in regards to dimensions, right?
Okay.
And so I went straight to multidimensionally planing, like how we as human beings are multidimensional beings. It's just that many of us just forget that we are. Now, see, because I got to turn this with this interview. I'm going to do this interview next week. Now, what's your thoughts on that? Like, just your perspective on that, please, sir.
As far as multidimensional in general, Dennis?
Yeah.
Well, I'm.
If you want to go deep, Joe. If you want to go deep, no problem.
No, you're fine, Dennis. I've heard different versions of that. Read different versions. I think of a professor. I forgot the guy's first name, of course. Green. He was on PBS, and he's the one who was doing the presentation about string theory. I think of that when I hear multi-dimensions and the brain, as in short for membrane, different universes bumping together, and there's membrane separate. I personally don't subscribe to that, Dennis, personally speaking. Now, I will say this. Now, the universe is big, and I like the way that Einstein put it. There are spooky actions that happen, and he was talking about the entanglement when he was saying
matter.
that.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I'm with you, Joe.
Reason why I bring that up, Dennis, is because well, the entanglement is real because entanglement is big. Long story short, is when you take an atom or photons, you can split them in half, and because of their bonding, they're
trying to stick to each other.
They're on atomic bonding. You could be miles. You could be on Mars, literally. And they've experimented with this.
Quantum mechanics.
Quantum mechanics. Exactly. You could be on Mars.
I know.
You take that and you flip it in half. You flip it. It will do the exact same movement, whether it's 1 inch away from each other. So that is.
It doesn't matter.
Spooky,
it doesn't matter.
But it's science.
I know. Spooky science. Dark matter. You know, it's like one thing can react. You know, you could be light years away. You could be a different dimension. Now we can get into that later if you want to get deeper with that. Okay. But in regards to that, Joe, like to tie it together, I'd like to ask you a question, sir. They refer things as being elementals like fire, water, earth, air, right? Whatever. You know. And the fifth element, I'm sure you've seen the movie, The Fifth Element, whatever, right?
I did. I have seen
it. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. And, I was thinking, as a child, I'm growing up, what the fuck is going on? Excuse my language.
I don't
care. We don't swear on this show.
Yeah, I know.
One of the biggest lies. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, Dennis.
PG-13. But I believe consciousness. Now, not human consciousness. What I refer to, sir, as source core consciousness within universal energy. Now, if you want to call that God, creator, whatever you want to call it, I believe there is matter. There is matter within consciousness. It's just our human instruments can't read it. But yeah, it is real. So what's your opinion on that, sir?
Well, I would have to research. I don't know specifically what you're talking about, but of course, as far as like more philosophical, and so I don't know enough of that because I have not studied that, but I have an idea of what you're talking about, Dennis. Long story short of what I get the impression, I don't tend to subscribe to things that are more. I'm trying to say it in such a way where I don't want to come across as offensive, but I'm just going to be honest. I tend to be more, like I said, atheist. I am an atheist, and I do classic science is what I subscribe to. The scientific method where you have not just the theory, but everything else that goes with it. You test it, and is it able to be duplicated? You should be able to measure things. Right. You should be able to measure because anybody, because otherwise it's just philosophy.
Where do you get a control from? If you're doing an experiment on human consciousness, what control would you have to base your experiment, like your results off of? Because you don't have any.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No.
Well, yeah, and I'm glad to hear that you use that word control, Dennis, because that shows that you're educated yourself, that you understand that there's a control factor. Because in order to do experiments, you got to have some kind of variance, you got to have a control. That way, right. And then you isolate certain things. And
otherwise, something's measurable. Doesn't make no fucking sense. It's nothing.
And the closest thing I can think of, Dennis, and this is real science, as I'm sure a lot of the listeners and everybody knows, that scientists now, brain scientists, they now have ways of tracking. And I actually sat in on a tech talk a few years ago here in Lincoln, and I forgot the name of it. It's bounced back and forth between Lincoln and Omaha and Nebraska, where I'm calling from, the United States, for the Canadian listeners and people on the globe on the internet. It's called like Science Cafe or something like that. It's been a few years now, but I sat in on one of the science, brain science. They can actually of course, keep track, and they can measure brain waves. They can, and there's certain regions of the brains for certain functions. That's the closest thing I can think of to measuring conscious. But it's not perfect, of course, because you're measuring activities within the physical brain. The gray matter, if you will. But
see, that's where you go. That's what
you're talking about. That's not quite. That probably wouldn't be sufficient for you, I'm guessing, Dennis. But
no, you're good.
Yeah, I'm more of the classic science, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. And if you don't have a pure control, then you take you have to include variables in regards to every subject per se, and then you got to take a fucking average, right? And that becomes your control, right? Basically, because if you don't really have anything you put your finger on, because science,
exactly,
you're right, and you got to look at the big picture. That's the way I look at things, Joe. Right?
Okay.
You got to look at things. I'm an inquisitive person, all right? And I like to try to figure things out, right? As yourself, I'm sure, right? I used to do a BTR show, Marrying Spirit with Science, right? The big picture. And that was the premise is marrying spirit with science. And this is the whole thing. This is my objective. And yes, we can equate. Now, I'm not talking about religion, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
No, you're fine. I'm listening.
Okay. I'm talking about consciousness as an actual quote unquote unseen force, right? I'm not going to say force. Force is just a general word, right?
Right. I got you.
Right. It is present. Put it that way. It's present. Consciousness is present.
Okay? Absolutely. I agree with you on that.
Right. Right. And so when you talk about string theory and quantum mechanics and stuff like that, quantum mechanics, that's awesomeness.
Brian Greene, by the way, I forgot. Brian Greene is Dr. Brian Greene. But go ahead. Sorry. I just remember the guy's name.
Yeah, good. See, this is the way things happen. See, okay, I got to ask you this. Okay, I'm going to cut myself off on this one because I'm really on a rant on this. Now, I got to ask you a question, Joe. In regards to you being a skeptic, whatnot, what's your thoughts, feelings, or objective perspective? Well, it's not objective when I'm asking you directly, but in regards to telepathy, like thought, like thought transfer, that kind of shit.
Well, I understand that the United States government and other governments, they have actually done real, and I'm not an expert on this, but just kind of general knowledge.
Viewing. Oh yeah, remote viewing. Remote viewing is like in the fucking 50s, man. Remote viewing and fucking LSD. The way the fucking government was the one who fucking made fucking LSD.
Yeah, correct. You're right.
Yeah.
My understanding, Dennis, is that
Terrence McKenna. Oh, then you know Terrence.
No, I'm sorry, I don't.
Oh, Terrence McKenna? Yeah, he's like into all the psychedelics and stuff like that.
Okay, it sounds like you know more about that than I do. My understanding, Dennis, in regards to like telepathy, and I personally, again, don't subscribe to it, but there are certain things, having had taken psychology, biology, and astronomy, and other science courses, there are certain things that, like for instance, a psychosomatic. The body can actually, we have more abilities, the body as well as the brain. We can actually make ourselves, quote unquote, make ourselves sick, quote unquote, if we think about it too much or we dwell on it. So that psychosomaticness is an example of something where the mind there's almost like an extra, kind of a little boost, not superhero level, but something a little bit more than the average than you think. So that's why I try not to close the door. Yeah. I try not to close the door completely on certain things. Telepathy, to be honest with you, I would say, and because I like to deal with sliding scales, Dennis and Wolfman, I like to see it more in terms of, okay, what is the possibility, what is the likelihood, and what is realistically, and the possibility, the least likely. And I would say telepathy, I would say is more likely, because you're still dealing with the human brain and you can measure certain things. I would say it's more likely, but I haven't seen. I personally, I don't study it. Sounds like you do, Dennis. So you know more about it than I do. But so I haven't. I focus on other things. But the little bit I have read about it and what I've seen and heard about it, I personally haven't seen any proof. Telepathically being able to see what the enemies were doing during World War II and the Cold War.
Yeah, that's all bullshit. Yeah, no, that's I don't go that way. All right, Joe. I didn't mean to cut you that way. Right, but it's again, it's a transfer. Okay, now here we go deeper. Huh. So you do not discount, you do not deny of this telepathy kind of thought projection thing.
I don't, but I also don't subscribe to it necessarily. It's just I know there are studies. I personally haven't seen anything that backs it up, but it's possible. Right. But anyway, I just wanted to clarify. Go ahead, Dennis.
Right. Thank you. Okay. No, I'm just trying to figure things here. So in regards to multiverse, okay, no, we're not even talking about that. Let me get back on track, man. Yeah.
No, I love the concept of multiverse, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, multiverse. So yeah, it fascinates me. No,
I actually don't believe it.
I
don't know. I should say I'm agnostic on that, but that's. But go ahead. You wanted to go somewhere.
Okay. Oh man, you just triggered me. Okay, I gotta ask you a question.
I wanted to say something so much about that, but it's really big. But like you said, that's such a big subject Dennis. Because the way I look at it is this, Dennis. Okay, was it? I keep forgetting. Was it Viking? One of the original. Not space. Well, I guess you could say space probes. The pioneers and Vikings. The
probes one of those guys.
I forgot which. I always get the two mixed up.
Viking and pioneers.
One of them finally left the solar system.
I don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, one of them finally left the solar system just now. A few years ago.
Voyager. 20 years ago.
Thank you, Voyager. Thank you. I always get the two mixed up. Voyager. Okay, now the solar system. Okay. The solar system is just basically the block in astronomical terms. How do we know how?
Is nothing, man.
We can measure lights, and that scientists are able to measure the red shifts and the blue shifts, and that's how we know that the universe is approximately 13.5 billion years.
See, exactly, I get that. Exactly, Joe. But you know what? You know what the funny thing is, Joe? Now I'm going to ask you this. Okay. We can only see as far as the light has already gone because we can't see past
exactly.
that.
I was just about to get to that. Right.
Okay. So what is beyond what is up where the light hasn't already been? See, that's a question.
Is it just? I mean, is it that the light Is there a possibility that the light? And actually, I did read something fairly recently that. Actually, they bumped up the date of the universe just slightly. It's more like it's closer to it's like 15.5 billion years instead of 13.
Oh, so
that was about a year ago when I read that.
Okay,
but anyway,
now I have to recalibrate everything. I thought it was 13.47536 billion years old. Fuck.
But Dennis, you hit the nail on the head. Is it just that? I mean. What if it's actually closer to 30 billion, and it's just that the light hasn't reached us yet?
It could be 400 billion years. Fuck, I don't give a fuck.
Right, and that's where now, and Wolfman and audience and Dennis, that's where before. Okay, I would say around the year for sure 2006 is when I knew for sure I was an atheist because I was one of the co-founders of the Lincoln Secular Humanists in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Did you have to join a cult for that to be an atheist, man?
Yeah, right. No.
Okay, no, just kidding. But anyway.
No, I got you. I got you. But actually, I was an atheist before that, though, because I actually had joined the what do you call that? The Unitarian Church before that. It was 2004, 2005, and actually the Unitarian Church, they're so liberal, and they're wonderful, but they're still a church, and that's why I left the Unitarian Church because even though they have like pantheists, even atheist preachers in some cases, but they still have the structure of the church. So I left the Unitarian Church and became blown atheist. I was an agnostic at that point. Before I declared myself a full blown atheist, Wolfman and Dennis, and for that reason, Dennis, the conversation you and I were having about in regards to like the data, the age of the universe as we know so far, as scientists know so far, because I used to call myself an agnostic atheist, which technically speaking we all are, because you can't know something that you don't know. I mean, how do I have a Blazer, a year 2000 Blazer here in Lincoln, Nebraska, and Wolfman and Dennis. Do you know if I have a stuffed animal of a purple teddy bear in my car right now? How would you know? You don't have access to that information, so I could be lying to you, or I could have 10 of them. That's don't correct. Know. That's where the agnosticism. It's literally taken from the Greek form, the Greek root. Agnostic without knowledge. You just simply don't know, and it's not that you don't care or sitting on the fence like some people try to use the terminology agnostic. It's literally, that's incorrect. It's literally
you know what knowledge. When he mentioned this, Joe,
that's what I'm getting at, Genesis.
Agnosticism. When he mentioned this this term agnostic and atheist, right? We in Toronto, I live in Toronto, like close to it.
Awesome.
We were the first in North America to have actually not only do we have a Satan church, we have the first agnostic or atheist, it's whatever. I get in arguments with people in regards to that those terms. Yes, we can go further in regards to that, but they have a church which is tax-free, because it's a church. It's a religion now. Right. Yeah, no, for sure. Oh, yeah, Mike knows this. They opened it up 3-5 years ago. Agnostic church or something. Atheist church. Atheism. So, yeah, atheism is a religion on its own. So, are you a religious man, Joe?
No, of course not. Atheism. No, I've seen in the United States we have a few.
So
of those
you're
where
an atheist.
Where some atheists got together to. And they use the structure of church.
Right.
And this came out like it was like 2 years ago, last year.
So
they tell you that they're atheists, but they do that.
System.
Just some of them said because they missed
Joe. I don't want to argue. It's not a structured belief system. Basically,
no,
I wasn't. At the end, called the cult.
I wasn't even talking about belief system. I was talking about literally the structure of the organization. That they call the church. I'm not even talking about the structure of the beliefs, just the structure of the organization when they meet together. I'm talking more. But no, atheism is not a religion. It's because again, with the Greek terms here, as atheism, the prefix means without a. Like I'm apolitical. Some people are like, oh, I'm non-political. So that's
neutral.
And then theism
neutral.
obviously deals with God. It's without God. So atheist means
neutral.
You do not believe in. Not neutral. You do not believe in the concept of any gods. That's what true atheism is.
So you're open-minded. Okay. So atheists are open-minded to like a spiritual type of belief system that others believe in?
No, like that sounds more like deism. What you're talking about, and deism is deism. Some people say deism, but I believe
deism.
First.
Yeah, deism. Yeah.
This is the Monster Castle Paranormal Radio Show. We explore the paranormal phenomenon with researchers and skeptics from all walks of life and beyond. Fridays and Saturdays, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. Visit our website at monstercastleparanormal.com.
Monster Castle Paranormal Radio.
Sorry about that. It was set to go off at the bottom of the hour.
That's a good idea.
Could you hear that, Joseth?
Yeah. You mean the station identification thing? Yeah, I absolutely did hear that.
Wow. Interesting.
Now, are we on break right now?
No. That was just bottom of the hour station identification thing.
Okay, so we're still on.
Yeah.
This is different. I'm used to the music and everything, so that's kind of hi everybody.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I'm not gonna play a song to. We're rapping. I mean, we're rapping good here, so we're gonna keep.
No, that's cool.
All right. Okay.
Oh, no, Joy. I enjoyed our conversation, sir.
No, I am too. This is awesome.
Yeah.
But no. Long story. Yeah. I've actually heard about that, Dennis. And can I take a swag at that the atheist, or excuse me, the Satan church and things of that nature?
Okay, go ahead, man. Because I think it's a big fucking joke. But yeah.
No, you're fine. No, okay. So for about 10 or 11 years, first of all, that organization that I was a co-founder of, I was just merely a co-founder. The Lincoln Secular Humanists. I served as their treasurer for a short time, but I was there we were together for a few years. 2006, I left around 2009, so not too long, because there's a lot of infighting, and I ended up leaving. The organization, there's a professor at this regional university called Doane. It was called Doane College. It's now called Doane University now. It's now formally a university, so they've gone up in the scale. And the organization, Lincoln Secular Humanists, their professor, I won't say his name because I don't think he'd be comfortable me bringing his name in this conversation.
No, that's okay.
The professor of the religious studies of Doane University approached us, and he asked us to be guest speakers in his religious studies class. And we did, as an organization. The professor had invited religious people, Christians, Muslims, Jewish people, even Wiccans. And of course, he invited us to as the atheists. Well, years later, I continued, even when I left, so I continued on my own, and so I did the lectures by myself. So I've done, and one that almost every time I haven't done it for about a year and a half now, but every time I do a lecture at Doane University, at the religious studies here in Lincoln, Nebraska, someone almost always asks me, "Do you believe in Satan?" And and I kind of roll my eyes because they it's like I think and I'm saying this is in particular to Christians, because I mean it could go for other religions too, but the devil, you find that in the Bible. Because if I'm not going to believe any concepts of gods, why would I believe in like the devil? Because it's on the same level, right? And so they think that I'm anti-God. I should say they think we're anti-God, we're anti-Christian, and they think, well, I know, and like I said, and this happens almost every time I lecture.
They think
they trip me up on it. It's like, no, if I'm not going to believe in a God, why would I believe in any devil, any concept of a devil? And when I say I don't believe in, I don't mean. Let me clarify this real quick, Dennis, for the audience. Let me clarify this real quick for the audience, Dennis.
Go ahead, please.
When I say, and I'm speaking for myself, I'm not sure other atheists and other people can speak for themselves as well, but generally speaking, classically speaking, to use the terminology of atheists, when we say, and I wish other atheists be more careful how they say things. Me personally, I say I don't believe in any gods, or I say I don't believe in the concept of gods. Because if I say I don't believe in God, just like that, people will say, "Oh, you don't believe in Jesus because you don't have any faith in him." To them, it sounds like I'm saying I don't believe in Donald Trump. I don't have my faith in him. Yes, he exists, but I don't believe in him because I'm against what he stands for. I'm for Bernie Sanders. No, I don't mean like I don't believe in. What I'm saying is, to the audience, those who may be new to the concept of atheism, as you'd be surprised there really are. When we say we don't believe in the concept of gods at all, not just Christian gods, whether it's of the Judeo-Christian faith, Islam version of God, or pantheism.
Hindu, doesn't matter.
So I just wanted to clarify that for some in the audience because there's someone in my family, for years I told her that I was an atheist, and then one time it's like years later, I finally asked, "Do you understand what I mean by atheist?" And she finally admitted, no. She's like, no. And so I had to break it down for her. So that's why I think some people honestly really don't understand what atheism truly is. And that anecdote is that one female relative I'm telling you about. Now, it's anecdotal, but I'm sure it translates into a lot of people out there who, to them, what translates into atheism is not going to church. In fact, I visited churches. I visited my wife's church, several times in Lincoln, and her home in Kansas. And when I went to New York City and Harlem, I visited a Baptist church out there. And guess what? I'm still an atheist. So it's not the going to church, it's the not believing. And it's not the lack of belief in God, like the Webster Dictionary, the old school Webster Dictionary. When you read that, I believe this is Webster, one of the major old legacy dictionary says the lack of belief in God. It's not a lack. It's a choice of not believing in something I don't see that exists. Okay, I've been talking for a while.
No. And when you mentioned this, Joe, and I'm with you on this, right? Because I don't hold no religion. I am not a religious man. Okay. And I do not hold, like you mentioned this many times in regards to the plural form of God, quote unquote God, in plural, right? And yeah, there is no God. All right, there is no God. Okay, God is a construct. God is a construct that humans made up to